The Book of Not Knowing, Exploring the True Nature of Self, Mind, and Consciousness, by Peter Ralston, edited by Laura Ralston, narrated by Keith O'Brien, published by North Atlantic Books. Introduction. Grounded Enlightenment. Just as suddenly as a bubble bursting, my mind opened up to a new level of consciousness, and I felt my sense of self completely dissolve. In that instant, I became clearly and absolutely conscious of who and what I am. Peter Ralston. 1. For 40 years, I've had the good fortune of being able to make a living teaching in two extraordinary fields, martial arts and ontology, the investigation of the nature of being. My reputation as a martial artist is what draws most people to study with me. In 1978, I was the first non-Asian to win the full-contact World Championships held in China, and I am considered to be among the best in the world. I might be better than most at fighting, but as every new student of mine quickly discovers, the heart of my work has always been consciousness. 2. While it was increased consciousness that transformed my skills to the level of mastery, some people are still a bit surprised to learn that everything I teach in the physical domain, from effective body being to the art of effortless power, relies heavily on mind work as a foundation. In Japan, the samurai began to practice Zen contemplation because it made them better warriors. But this connection was discovered much earlier, almost by accident, in the Zen monasteries of ancient China. Long hours of stillness and contemplation can be detrimental to the body, so the monks began to incorporate calisthenics, and over time this practice evolved into martial arts. 3. The study of consciousness itself can stand entirely on its own, and does not require any physical activity. For me, the fluid, ever-changing action of fighting provided an excellent way to investigate all aspects of being, allowing access to areas of the mind that remain obscure to most people. Both my physical training and my contemplation work were always driven by a fascination with uncovering the truth behind the human condition. I was relentless in my pursuit of understanding every facet of being human, including the nature of perception, relationships, and even reality itself. An essential contribution to this effort was a breakthrough in consciousness, which Zen people call an enlightenment. 4. There is a lot of misunderstanding about enlightenment in our culture, and such an experience is too often shrouded in mystery and fantasy. It is a life-altering leap in consciousness, but one enlightenment doesn't necessarily turn you into some wizened old sage, and practically everyone is capable of having such an experience. For me, it was a beginning, an entrance into a completely new and inconceivable consciousness. It is impossible to accurately convey such an experience, but I'll try to give you some idea what my first enlightenment was like. I'd just finished several days of intense contemplation. I'd never worked harder at anything in my life, and yet I hadn't become conscious of the nature of my own self. I was still at the meditation hall the following morning, sitting contentedly against the wall in a sunlit loft, when I had the most remarkable experience. Just as suddenly as a bubble bursting, my mind opened up to a new level of consciousness, and I felt my familiar sense of self completely dissolve. It seemed like my awareness both expanded and merged with what had always been true, the very essence of being. It was unlike anything I'd ever known, and no description could do justice to the experience. In that instant, I was clearly and absolutely conscious of who and what I am. A deep sense of peace washed over me, and also an unexpected feeling of freedom. No joy I had ever experienced even remotely compared to this awakening. My mind was freed of burdens that I didn't know I had. Assumptions about reality and limitations in my awareness just disappeared. My sense of self was open and without location. A sense of calm, lightness, and ease saturated my being, and I felt I had at last become one with my real self. All inner turmoil evaporated. All doubt and struggle fell away. It was the most extraordinary moment of my life. 5. Such an awakening is completely outside of conventional human experience. The normal operating principle that used to be and live as myself was no longer there. I didn't even speak about this enlightenment for several days, since there was no self left to desire to communicate it. I wasn't freed of self completely, but it simply wasn't a feature at the time, and has never regained the same importance. It turns out that consciousness is not dependent on the self as we might assume, but the significance of this reality can only become clear through personal insight. 6. The realization in that one instant permeated every part of my awareness. My whole sense of being changed. Having so much assumption fall away in one moment had the effect of recreating my consciousness as a blank slate. I was opened up as never before. Suddenly, I had room to experience new insights that would previously have been overwhelmed by my lifelong accumulation of beliefs and conclusions. I could see that I had been trapped within my own perceptions, my own logic, my own knowledge and experience. 7. In such an open state, my ability to learn was completely transformed. Discovery became a real possibility, not something to be left to other people, but a joyful exercise to be taken on for myself. I investigated my intellect, my awareness, my perceptions, beliefs, and assumptions. I explored my body, movement, interaction, and relationships. I discovered that the more I learned, the more I could learn. From such investigation, many more insights arose, and my continued contemplation led to further, even deeper enlightenment experiences. 8. Over time, I developed new abilities and ways of thinking because my experience was authentically based. Issues of self-esteem and self-image had become irrelevant, and without effort I gained a natural sense of authenticity. I didn't have to pretend anything or doubt myself. Limitations of self-doubt gave way to self-acceptance and an openness to whatever is true. Relationships turned from acting out patterns of behavior to seeking out an honest and real expression for myself and others. I was empowered to investigate and clearly see aspects of being human that had previously seemed beyond reach, except as hearsay or belief. I came to understand the nature of belief itself, and discovered that the very foundation of my sense of reality and life was but a collection of assumptions and misconceptions. 9. Becoming unconditionally open to the truth, regardless of personal preferences, showed me that consciousness is also the key to being truly effective. In time, my body became attuned to principles that facilitated my discovery of effortless power. For the first time, I felt truly comfortable within my whole body. It became soft and relaxed, unified and integrated, full of energy and sensitivity. I could feel every cell of my body all at once, as well as the ground beneath my feet and the space all around me. I developed a powerful ability to feel the presence of other people, and from there made great leaps in skill. Such magical possibilities continued to spring up, and these are what led me to mastery. If I'd been a surgeon or pianist, I'm certain the changes and leaps in ability would have manifested there instead. 10. While I get excited about the possibilities available through this work, I urge you to consider that enlightenment is not a matter to be pursued as an abstract concept or some fantasy on a mountaintop. Taking on the work in this book means a real and personal commitment to experience the truth of your own being and reality, whatever that may turn out to be. I can help you with this, but it will do you no good just to believe what I say. In fact, as any Zen master knows, students need to cast aside all beliefs and make the trip for themselves. 11. Zen masters are notoriously reticent, and with good reason. Matters of consciousness and enlightenment are impossible to convey. Nevertheless, since I myself am notoriously talkative, I'm about to spend 26 chapters trying to help you personally discover the truth about yourself, beyond belief, hearsay, or conjecture. Although the truth is already so, and is profoundly simple, it is not accessible within the world as we know it. What's needed is a new kind of communicating and listening, so please keep that in mind as you read. 12. This book contains real issues about human existence. It has been painstakingly crafted to help you transform your life from the ground up, including your experience of self, perception, mind, and consciousness. A foundational shift of this magnitude requires your participation and commitment. I promise that if you delve deeply into what's being said, create the insights you're invited to create, and work hard to truly grasp this communication in your own experience, your entire outlook and experience of life and self will be transformed in ways that you cannot yet comprehend. This book is about penetrating to the very source and nature of the human condition. In other words, it is about you.